We saw a couple of fans running on the pitch. We can see them over our shoulder, and obviously trying perhaps to say hello to, hopefully just hello to Cristiano Ronaldo. He's trying to calm things down, being the mediator in that particular scenario, but I don't think it's anything too much to worry about. Let's have a look at the Group H table and what that signifies. Manchester United losing 5 points behind Juve now. Point for Juventus against Manchester United in the next round of matches will mean that Juventus will definitely go through to the knockout stage, a win, and they will qualify as group winners. Pivotal games obviously coming up, especially when Manchester United have to go to Valencia. Well, there are 8 more matches tomorrow. Again, the new split kick-offs see 2 matches start at 5:55, the rest kick off at 8. Tottenham featuring one of those early games. They're away at PSV on BT Sport 3 HD from 5:15. Liverpool take on Red Star on 2 HD from 7. Elsewhere, Barcelona against Inter and PSG versus Napoli are 2 more top games, all of which are available across the BT Sport in the second half, in the first half, but it doesn't seem to happen. That's a whole approach, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I think it's a mindset. I think I look back to the kick-off in the first half. We sat here going, put them under pressure. Sometimes it's old school tactics, and sometimes it's not as pleasing on the eye. But the ball from the kick-off, come back to the centre half, wherever, play it into their defensive areas, into a channel, and get your team up the pitch. Pin them back and set the tone from the beginning. It's just little details like that sometimes will set the tone for your team to be on the front foot from the first minute. Far too often this season we see this team, they're just there, they're slow, they're conservative, waiting for the game to just kind of pick up itself, and they're not the instigators of the pace of the game, and that's the problem for this team at the moment.
We'll come back to the overall picture of where Manchester United are. But first, let's remind ourselves about how Juventus won the game. Goal from Dybala, some decent football. Ronaldo involved, obviously, Paul.
Yeah, they played decent football all night, didn't they? They was by far the best team. Can Lindelof get across there? I think he can. He has to see that. That's the danger. Martial has obviously left him. I think Victor goes over him and clears that up. But then even still, I think Chris goes with his wrong foot. I think he should go with his left foot and take absolutely everything out of it. Don't even think about a risk of the ball falling to where it does. He needs to take the full thing out, and the goal doesn't happen. But give credit to Dybala. Centre forward, sniffing a goal out, and he's finished it well.
I think Ronaldo deserves a lot of credit, really. 33 years old, running away from Martial. You know, just that little bit of urgency, awareness that something could happen in that moment. I just thought they were the sharper team, Juventus.
He's a freak of nature in many ways, Ronaldo. He had one magnificent effort in the second half, but it was only usurped by the magnificence of the goalkeeping. It really was special. Not for the first time, I have to say, from David De Gea, who's carried this Manchester United team at times.
It was a great run of play there. Beautiful from back to front, and the save there, we were behind that. We all thought it was in, and how David De Gea's got there and tipped it over the bar and had a strong enough wrist to do that was phenomenal. But
I don't think anyone else saves that outside of De Gea.
Yeah.
And he made it actually look quite comfortable. It was a brilliant piece of football and an unbelievable save.
Fabulous shot from Ronaldo as well. I mean, it was right in the top corner, wasn't it? You're entitled to feel a little bit upset that didn't hit the target in the end, but there you go. Pogba, that's probably the closest, well, it was definitely the closest to Manchester United got. It's pretty much their only decent effort on goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a good bit of play from really. Juventus a little bit sloppy there for once. It's a good bit of skill from Paul, and he tries to bend it round. Chesney could have had a little bit of luck. Maybe it could have bounced off the post, back of his head and got in. But United didn't deserve that. We know Juventus could have won this game 3 or 4.
But Scholesy, I mean, even there, it's not unbelievable football, but they put a bit of pressure on Juventus.
Yeah.
You know, even a good team put a bit of pressure on. They win the first one, Pogba wins the second one, and then they get something out of it. And that's what the fans wanted. They wanted something to cheer, but there was only really that moment in the game.
This is when you know you're clutching at straws. We're going to look at Rashford's penalty appeal right at the very end. It was definitely a bit of argy-bargy, but not kind of the decision you're likely to get. What do we think?
No, it's never a penalty. It's like you said, we're clutching at straws.
It's a bit of a push.
Yeah, there's a little bit of contact, but the keeper's got the ball already. It was interesting listening to Luke Shaw's interview there, saying we could have been more aggressive. We've shown him a little bit more respect. Now, does that come from the manager? Is that the way he wants them to play? Is he saying possibly? Is he questioning that?
Well, the way they tactically stayed up, it looked like they were deliberately sitting back. So surely that comes from the manager.
I do. I think it does come from the manager. And you come to Old Trafford, the last thing you expect as a centre midfield player is to have time on the ball. And when you've got players like Pjanic, Matuidi,
Bentancur was probably the best player on the pitch.
They come here, there's not a player within 10 yards of them. These are the best players in the world. They control games.
And also, I saw Juventus, pressing high at times. Is the modern game not about that, though? Isn't it an aggressive, forward-thinking, high-pressing, quick passing game that Manchester United don't play under Jose Mourinho?
Every single Juventus player will come off that pitch and go, wow, I was under no pressure today. Yeah. And that should be unheard of. If the team at home played today like an away team, sitting there waiting for an opportunity to counter-attack from within their own half. They didn't get out. They needed to be 15, 20 yards up the pitch. And if you go out in a home game, I'll sit there and think as a player, if you go out as a home team and you're tactically told to sit there, retreat and wait, I'll be sitting there thinking, this is Man United. This is so. That's the question you're asking. Is that the tactic that's been put out for these players, or are they just not good enough to be able to carry out a tactic?
I know this is always difficult for especially for former players of a club. Is Mourinho's time up?
Look, I think the problem is...
I'm happy for any of you to...
No, it's hard.
Jump
I think the problem is Man United are 10th in the Premier League. That's a long way off, where they expect to be. Today, there was a big golfing class. I think even Mourinho will acknowledge there's a massive golfing class. But they're not as good as Juventus, but they've got to be more positive. They've got to work a bit harder out of possession. They've got to be better on the ball. And I think about the two centre-backs, Bonucci and Chiellini. They were under no pressure today at any point at Old Trafford. That's unheard of.
It's not quite answered my question.
It's not just about Mourinho. It's about everyone. It's the whole collective in terms of recruitment. There's an issue.
You know as well as I do, that's not how things work at football clubs. It's all about everybody, but it's generally always about the manager.
I don't think Mourinho's the only problem.
No.
I think recruitment's an issue. The way they're playing is an issue. The players are not playing the way that they can, and the intensity is just not there.
I think when you get into his third year, which he has done that, I think you'd like to see an improvement year upon year, a way of playing, an identity that I don't see what they're trying to achieve.
If you were in charge of Manchester United now, if you were upstairs, would you change Mourinho?
No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
No.
Why not?
Because he's got a great record. He's been at big clubs, won massive trophies. He's done it in the first year here. It's been a struggle since then. But I think he has the experience to turn it around. And I think this last couple of weeks, he's been a little bit different. I think his attitude's been a little bit better towards players, but United are still 10th in the league. This game doesn't really matter tonight. They're still going to qualify from the group.
Well, should do. Ria?
Should do.
You? Had enough?
No, his experience counts for a lot. What he's achieved, that counts for a lot. And I think the powers that be, the biggest question for them is, can this man change this team around? Can he change the fortunes of this club around? History suggests that he's got the ability to do it. I don't know.
What about the game tonight? Can he change things tonight?
Well, tonight I didn't see a substitute come on the pitch for Man United.
That's what I'm saying.
So
that's why I'm asking. Do you think he can change it?
Well, like Scholesy said, this game almost becomes a non-event because they were so much better. And you could have said that before. We're 10th, they're first in their league, right? But the game against Chelsea, you sit there and go, second half performance tells you he's got a chance of doing it. So I'm sitting here in hope.
I've sat with ex-players for 20 years. I've never heard one ever say the manager should go at any club. And that's understandable. Why would you ever want to ask for somebody's his job? That's for other people to decide. And we'll hear from the man himself after the break. I wonder what he thinks, Jose Mourinho. Another difficult night for the Manchester United manager. We'll hear from him next. It seemed to me basically saying there that Juventus players overall have much more quality than his players. He's been at the club, this is his third season. He's spent absolute fortunes. Whose fault's that?
Well, he's meant to be building a team with the amount of money that he spent. So that the buck stops with him. I think he's very honest in his appraisal, and I think he's bang on the money. There was a huge golfing class between the two teams. But he's he's full of praise for the opposition's players, and I'd love to see him like that for his own team at some times, you know what I mean? Just to give some of his players the confidence that he seems to be giving Bonucci and Chiellini, and obviously that's a dig at the centre-backs that he wasn't able to get
but
in the transfer window.
He's bought a couple of centre-backs at least.
Yeah.
and spent quite significant money on them.
Yes, yeah, and they haven't
30 plus each.
deemed to be good enough yet. Lindelof was okay tonight. He was right there. 2 centre halves were magnificent, but say magnificent, they didn't.
Well, they didn't have to be for much of the game.
Be,
It was only the second half when they had to defend a little bit. Last 20 minutes or so.
Well, yeah, do you know when he talks about effort as well? I see effort as running, people getting to the ball, getting to plays. I never saw any of that in the first hour, maybe. I don't think I saw it through the game. I just think there was a massive gulfing class between the sets of players.
Yeah, I think he made a clear point to mention the centre-backs, obviously, that he didn't get what he wanted, and that's the base that allows Dybala and Ronaldo. But you're right, you know, he's the one who's brought by. He's the one who brought Lindelof, was probably one of United's better players. Big thing is, Juventus look like they can win the Champions League. United look miles away from anywhere near that, and they've got to sort the league form out because the Champions League is a pipe dream.
How do they turn things around from where they are now? I know they're not going to get relegated. They're the mid-table side, Manchester United, mid-table, struggling in the Champions League, not sure to qualify in a group that they should be comfortable.
I think that we spoke about it earlier, that football in today's day and age is evolved. Teams play on the front foot, they're attacking, they're aggressive, the intensity is huge on the front foot in the opponent's half to win the ball back early and high to be closer to the opposition's goal. Man United do the reverse. Sit back, retreat, wait for an opportunity to win the ball and then try and hit on the counter-attack as and when we get it without pressing at all. It's total opposites. Can they be successful doing that at the moment? They're 10th in the league. What does that tell you?
Yeah, well, it says a lot. Rio, thanks very much. Paul, as ever. Owen, thank you very much indeed. We're about out of time. Highlights will follow, but that's it from us on another tough night for Manchester United. On the bright side, their next Champions League fixture is Juventus away. Good night.